Welcome to Felin. This is a 12th century watermill. It was built in the 12th century, probably by the monks at around about the same time as the abbey. We know from the 16th century that the mill passed from family to family, and it continually milled until 1926, when the miller at that time died. The mill was left to its own devices for nearly 60 years. And on Easter Saturday 1981, the pond was flooded for the first time in nearly 60 years, and we've been milling ever since as a family. Everything that we do in the mill to make the flour, we do by the power of the water wheel. And everything that we do is in the same traditional way that it would have been done all those centuries ago. The wheel would have been a wooden wheel, not like the one that you can see here today. At the top of the pond we have a herb and sensory garden. As you sit here surrounded by all the different herbs and you listen to the bees and the birds that are flying around, you can hear the trickle of the stream as it's coming from Dogmael and flowing underneath my feet. And it's this stream that continually flows into the pond that keeps the pond topped up. So when I'm milling and the water's rotating over the wheel, it then flows off down into the River Tavy. And when you come inside the mill, you can see how the wheel, when it's turning outside, then links into the machinery, and all the wheels and the cogs within the machinery then turn the huge millstones which sit just above the machinery on the second floor of the mill, and those millstones then grind the grain into flour. Milling itself is a simple but involved process, and to start with, what we have to do is get the grain and then take the grain right from the bottom of the mill up to the top of the mill. And when we start the milling process, we take the grain in a sack and we hoist it to the top floor of the mill using the same old traditional sack hoist, and it's the original one that was here when my dad started his renovation. Flour, when it's milled in this way, has so many health properties that it's just a wonderful, tasty, delicious experience. And at Felin, we mill wheat, rye, spelt and barley, and we only use a small select number of family-run farms, and they are either in Wales or in England. The grain then is poured from the top of the mill into the hopper through a chute, and the hopper sits on top of a shoe, and then the shoe rotates, and as the shoe rotates, the damsel knocks the shoe backwards and forwards, and it allows the grain to go into the stones, and then as the stones pass over each other, they have grooves inside them, and it's the sides of these grooves that actually shear the grain and make it into the delicious flour that then tumbles down into the trough on the bottom floor. And when you're milling, you can smell the wonderful aroma of the freshly ground flour, and you can always taste the freshness as it comes down into the trough. We then sack the grain or bag it up, and we sell it on to people such as yourselves. So I hope you've enjoyed the little look around our mill. Why not try some of our delicious premium stone ground flour, and you can find out whether or not what I say about the taste and the smell is as delicious as I've made it sound.